Yes, we are live. So good day, everybody. My name is John Oluwafemiola, and the team lead for Act of Africa. And today, we this is the offshoot of the an engagement that we had recently on one of our research that we carried out on environmental impact assessment. Of course, we named it Social and Environmental Impact Assessment Awareness Survey. And of course, we have engaged the stakeholders, the ministries, departments, agencies, and of course, the relevant stakeholders. And today we'll be engaging the general public on the effect, the impact of non-compliance to environmental impact assessment when carried out development projects, extractive projects, whatever project at all approved by the government. Because any project whatsoever should be approved by government. That means they will have looked at the standards, whether they have actually meet up with the standards or not. So at this point today, we want to engage the general public on our findings, and of course enlighten the people about the what EIA really is, and the perception of the people, how the level of awareness of people. And of course, today I have a professional in the house. Is a member of the team, and is going to be taking us through the whole dissemination. So I have the singular honor of introducing. Is a team member, is the research lead at Act of Africa. Of course, he has done a lot when it comes to these. If we are talking about the success of this event, he has done a lot. So here I want to introduce to you Mr. Alatishe. Please, can you introduce yourself, Mr. Alatishe?
Good evening, everyone, and everybody present here live. I'm Ismail Alatishe, one of the members of Act of Africa for Change Initiative. I'm the team lead, I'm the research assistant, the head research unit, and I will be taking us through the presentation this evening. Thank you for being with me.
Yes, thank you very much. Actually, in our team, he wants to be moderate, of course. Thank you for introducing yourself. He's an environmentalist. He's a professional environmentalist, and of course, we've been working together for quite some time now. And seriously, he's a Yale alumnus as well. And anyway, I can't introduce him enough. The time for that will come when we have some other projects to actually bring to you, to engage you with. So we don't want to waste time because we are looking at a cap of 1 hour, and within that 1 hour, we want to actually deliver as much as we can. So and at this point, I'll be sharing from my hand. I'll be sharing the PowerPoint that we're going to use. Let me say this: we are not here to actually criticize the government or to talk about what they have not been able to do or what they have been able to do, but we are here to actually see that we ensure that governance is actually improved. We want to contribute our quota to actually ensuring that the governance work for the people. And part of those things is, protecting lives and property. It's not until when we have war and we have soldiers running here and there, that's when we can actually protect lives and property. But when it comes to EIA 2, when proper measures are not put in place before affecting a particular project, it can actually lead to serious disaster. So, for example, a situation whereby drainages were not actually included in a particular project that should have drainages, you know that the water will always find its way and could affect the community. And these are part of the things that we want to actually look at. We want to hold government accountable so that government can actually do what is right whenever projects are being submitted to them. So at this point, I don't want to talk so much. Let me quickly share the screen. So I will do the introduction and I will leave the rest to him to actually do the presentation. Um, Yes, so I will leave the rest to him to actually do the presentation. So, Mr. Latishe, I'll be sharing my screen now. After the introduction from the first page, then you take it up from there. So, okay, let me see. I'm coming. So, application, yes, let's go. So, Mr. Latishe, can you see my
Yes, sir.
screen? You can see my screen.
Obviously. Clearly, sir.
Okay, yeah, let me quickly do the introduction. Yes, it's all about we carried out a research, and that research is on social and environmental accountability. And of course, we of course, like Act of Africa for Change initiative, what we do is to raise active citizens, and our website is actofafrica.com.ng. You can contact us through that phone number, and if you look at what we have here, you can also contact us through all social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter using Act of Africa. So at this point, I want to say thank you, and let's have Mr. Alatishe take it up from here. So, Mr. Alatishe.
Thank you very much, the team lead. I'm going to start with the demography of the respondents that we surveyed during the research. Like he said, it is a research on social and environmental impact assessments. And the demographic characteristics of the respondents were taken into consideration. Firstly, we would be talking about the age distribution of our respondents. From the charts above, the majority of our respondents are both within the youthful age and beyond the youthful age. Ages 36 to 45 years are 62.35%, while a sizable percentage of our respondents are youths, ranging from 26 to 35 years, 18.4%, as well as 18 to 25 years, 14%. So a sizable percentage of our respondents are youths and beyond. So in a nutshell, we've covered the young people as well as people slightly above the youthful demography. So it means most of our respondents are expected to understand how policy and governance work in the country. That is about the demography. So from there, we'll move to the gender distribution of our respondents. The gender distribution of respondents shows that majority of our respondents are female, which tallies to about 60% of the total number of people sampled. So while the remaining are male, which tallies to 40% of our respondents. So the survey tried to maintain gender balance or gender equality. But obviously, from what we are seeing, it shows that more female actually had interest and responded to the survey than male. This shows that during the research, female actually showed more interest, and this is an indicator that females are now ready to take up the challenge and participate in activities that are geared towards the betterment and development of their society.
Okay.
More so, we did.
Okay.
Next slide, sir.
Next slide. Okay.
Next. More so, we did the geographical distribution of our respondents from the survey and the chart you are seeing above. Our respondents covered almost about 19 states of the federation, which is about 4 geopolitical zones of the 6 geopolitical zones we have in Nigeria, ranging from Borno State to Lagos, Borno State in the northeast to Lagos in the southwest, to Kano in the north central, and Cross River in the south, as well as Taraba and other states, like as you have the screen. So we actually spread the respondents across the states of the federation. So our geographical spread is to about 19 states of the federation. So next slide, sir.
Okay.
Going to the main reason of this survey, that is to assess the level of awareness of Nigerian denizens about environmental impact assessment and its enforceability in Nigeria. We tried to sample the awareness of our respondents as regards social and environmental impact assessment in the country. And an inquiry was made into the level of awareness of our respondents. Like the question you are seeing above, the respondents were asked about whether they've heard of any organization carrying out environmental impact assessment for developmental projects in the country. And obviously, most of our respondents, about 75.5% of our respondents are seeded to have had some organizations carrying out EIA before, while about 24.5% of our respondents have never heard of any organization carrying out EIA. Next slide, sir. Still on the awareness. Next slide. Next slide, sir. Let me talk about the awareness. Still on the awareness, we made an inquiry about the level of awareness, the understandability of our respondents as regards the contents of environmental impact assessment. And from from what we gathered, we realized that majority of the respondents, about 43.3%, were not sure of the content of environmental impact assessment, while 35.6% of our respondents partially understood the concept of EIA, and about 9.1% truly understand. They understand the concepts that are well understood. We can see from this chart that the percentage of our respondents that truly understand the concept of environmental impact assessment are considerably lower compared to people that are not sure or that are ignorant of the concept. Next slide, sir. Next slide.
Okay, you're not talking about this awareness.
Yes, still on the awareness, we made an inquiry into the level of understanding of environmental impact assessment of our respondents. And to our greatest dismay, we realized that majority, very high percentage of our respondents did not or do not understand any element of EIA. About 94% of our respondents are completely novice when it comes to environmental impact assessment awareness in Nigeria, as well as what it really entails. 4% of our respondents partially or slightly understand the concepts, why 2% of our respondents are fully aware of the EIA concepts as well as its enforceability. From this chart, it is clearly obvious that majority of our respondents are novice when it comes to the environmental impact assessment awareness as well as its enforceability in the country, compared to the 2% of our respondents that fully understand what EIA entails. So oppositely, this study reveals that a great number of our respondents is deficient of EIA knowledge. Ergo, a
Yeah.
plethora of sensitization and awareness, efforts about EIA is required to rouse the citizens' consciousness and participation during EIA. This is not in a bid of citing the populace or the denizens to the government or trying to antagonize what the government is doing. It is in a bid of ensuring social audit while protecting our environment and its people from hazard that could surface from non-compliance to EIA standard when executing developmental projects in the country. Let's go to perception, sir. Perception. Next slide, sir. The perception, we tried to assess the perception of our respondents about the synergy between government and stakeholders as regards EIA implementation in the country. The percentage of the respondents was sought regarding topical EIA concepts such as EIA enforceability, the EIA and food security, among others, as well as the synergy between the government and stakeholders. So a question like what we are seeing on the screen above surfaced as how well the government work in sync with other stakeholders such as NGOs, CSOs, religious body, private organizations, as well as business entities in assessing the environmental impact of developmental projects before, during, and after developmental projects in Nigeria. From what we gathered, most of our respondents, about 68.3% of our respondents, are of the opinion that government is not doing is doing very badly, is not doing well when it comes to working with other stakeholders on the implementation of why about EIA when it comes to working with other the respondents said they don't really know much about it. Why only 3.2% of our respondents believe that in the country regarding the implementation of EIA for developmental projects. So, oppositely, from this survey, it shows that the synergy between government and stakeholders on EIA implementation is not actually very good. It's very bad, according to what we gathered from our respondents. Still on the perception, we made an inquiry about what our respondents think about do you think developmental projects come with negative impact on the environment? We pose that question to our respondents. Obviously, since most of our respondents do not have the basic knowledge of what AI entails, so it did not surprise us to realize that majority of our respondents said no. About 54.8% respondents said the developmental project did not come with negative impact on the environment, health, as well as livelihood of the people. Whereas in the actual instance, it's really do. So, but this is showing the level of awareness of our respondents when it comes to environmental impact assessment implementation in the country. Still on the perception, we made an inquisition from our respondents about what they feel about carrying out environmental impact assessment during and after important projects in Nigeria. Most of our respondents, we asked whether they agree or strongly agree or are neutral about it. And most of our respondents said that they strongly, let me quickly say something about this. When we realized that most of our respondents do not really understand what AI entails, we tried to explain the concept to them so that they will have the basic knowledge of what it entails. So it was when we told them what EIA, government EIA, during, before, and after important projects in Nigeria. So when the true picture of EIA has been cleared, most of them realize that governments or organizations in the country, they do not usually carry out EIA when they are doing developmental projects in the country. So their perception shows that 70% of our respondents strongly disagree that the 70% of our respondents strongly disagree that the highest percentage of Nigerians believe that Nigerian governments oftentimes do not carry out AIA before, during, and after developmental projects in the country, while only 10% of our respondents believe that government is doing the needful in terms of EIA before, during, and after any developmental projects in the country. And 20% of our respondents were neutral about it. 20% maintained neutrality following the trend of responses. This neutrality might be as a result of lack of basic knowledge or unconcerned attitude towards happenings in their environment. Also, we asked the knowledge level of the respondents as regards whether EIA has any impact on food insecurity. A question like this was posed that, do you think non-compliance to environmental impact assessment standards for developmental projects can negatively affect food security? And obviously, when most of our respondents now have the basic knowledge of what EIA entails, when we've explained or tried to get them acquainted with the concept of EIA. So most of them maintained yes response. About 93% of our respondents believe that non-compliance to EIA standard developmental projects can negatively affect food security in Nigeria, while only very little percentage of 7% realized, believe that non-compliance to EIA will not negatively impact food security. So generally, that is the findings of our organizations as regards uh, impacts and enforceability of social and environmental impact assessment on developmental projects in Nigeria. So on this note, I would like to hand over the remaining or the concluding part of the discussion engagement to the team lead, Mr. Femi Ola, to continue from there. Thank you very much
Thank you
for
very
your
much.
attention,
Thank you very much.
for
I
your
really
rapt attention.
okay. Yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate your um that eloquence, the mastery of the knowledge. Of course, who will have done it better than the man behind the scene that actually cook up the whole thing? We worked on all these things together, and I'm actually amazed at the level of delivery. So I hope you have been able to understand what we are trying to pass across in terms of environmental impact assessment. So you mentioned some salient things that I think I need to actually touch on myself too. I don't want to interrupt because we know how internet actually behave here in Nigeria. So if you look at this area where places where people, the demographic distribution of people that actually responded by location, if you look at this, you will realize that we were unable to capture everything. This was as a result of the fact that this is a project that we carried out with a very little fund at hand. I think I need to explain the technique that we use behind the scene, offline and online. Um, we combine both online and offline research. Mr. Latiche, there is a kind of noise behind the scene.
Ah,
You, there's background noise from your hand. So
no, no, no.
okay. What we have presently, I can tell you that is because we don't really have enough fund to actually carry this research out. We will have gone beyond that. We'll have spent more months to actually conclude this project. But because we want to actually meet up with time, and of course, we want to live within the fund that was made available. So we hope to work on this the more. We hope to, because this is just a prototype of what we have in mind. So we hope to work on it the more come in the coming day. So then we'll also talk about the awareness. A lot of people. I was amazed when we discovered that a lot of a lot of people believe that they've heard about it. So now what we are looking at here, we talk about perception. Does it negatively affect environment, health, and livelihood? A lot of people actually agree that it can actually can have impact on some of these things. So I want to really appreciate those people those of you that are online with us. I want to appreciate the team for doing this wonderful job. But let me quickly go to the last page document that we now use to engage people. These are documents, these are images that we have actually developed. One of those is saying that there's need to increase efforts towards educating the citizen in understanding the effect of non-compliance to environmental impact assessment. And that's what we are doing presently. We are educating the public, understanding the negative effect of non-compliance to EIA, environmental impact assessment. Of course, it will have a social impact on people. Livelihood will be affected. They will actually be displaced from their ancestral lands. These are part of the things. Then we also talk about one place where we actually talk about women being taking the 60% of respondents, being the 60% of the respondents, we said women are the driver of change. Therefore, we must engage them in driving policy-driven advocacy that ensures that total compliance to environmental impact assessment is actually driven through them. So we believe in the fact that women, it's not just an in thing that people shout about women, but we believe that women are actually pivotal to whatever success we're going to record when it comes to enforcing social and environmental impact assessment standard in the country. So we also talk about environmental law should be made available in an easy to understand format and language. So at this point, we are looking for support from whoever that can actually support our initiative. We are coming up with analyzing environmental laws and in such a way that it will be available to people in a way that they will understand it. Then we'll talk about civil society working on would leverage on opportunity of leverage more on social media, and that's what we are using presently. We are also advising other organizations to actually leverage on the power of social media to actually drive this issue of social and environmental impact assessment. Then we'll talk about if not check, not compliance to EIA will negatively impact food security. Just like from our findings, we are able to discover that a lot of people believe that if we don't take care of enforcement in terms of EIA, food security, there will be food insecurity in the country, and therefore government needs to rise up to the occasion and do something very fast. So this is where we want to say thank you for listening to us. This is just a dissemination, and we'll be coming back to discuss some other salient issues that we will actually want you to be part of. And at this point, we want to say thank you to Mr. Latishe, is the team lead for research team, and I'm the team lead for Act of Africa. And of course, I want to appreciate Accountability Lab Nigeria for the support, and Accountability Lab Global for the support they gave to us during this project and for funding this project. And of course, I want to appreciate all the research assistants that work on this particular project. I can't name everybody, but I can at least mention some names. I want to appreciate Mr. Ishola Abiodun for a wonderful job he has done. I want to appreciate Mr. Udwale Abiodun. He's an educationist par excellence, so he loves research a lot. So I want to appreciate him for doing a wonderful job. And I want to appreciate once again Mr. Latike Ishmael for doing a great job. The delivery, wonderful. When we're coming up with all these presentations and all the documents, it was a fantastic one. So at this point, I want to say that this PowerPoint will be made available on our website. And of course, not just the PowerPoint alone, but our reports, the report about this research will be made available on our website. And our website is www.actofafrica.com.ng. And my name is Ola John Oluwafemi, who am the founder and the team lead for Act of Africa. Mr. Latiche, are you still there?
Yes, I'm with you.
So please, can you just say a little, just say some things and let our people know that you are still there and your parting shots.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it, and I want to implore our listeners as well as people that are online witnessing what we are doing, most especially people using their data as well as other people that stream the video later on. I just want to implore us that we should take cognizance the issue of environment, most especially environmental assessment in our neighborhood. We can see the problem caused by poor poor environmental impact assessments implementation in example, the issue of the current what happened yesterday or in Lagos is as a result of poor environmental planning as well as non-compliance to environmental impact assessment in the country. And we are having series of these in the country. You see a lot of hazards are springing up. A lot of things are being caused by non-compliance to environmental and social impact assessment as well as poor planning in the country. So it is a high time for each and every one of us to conscious of what government as well as private organizations do in our environment. Let's wake up to this call and see and participate fully in the implementation of projects in our environment. This concept we are talking about, it has legal backing. Unfortunately, most of our people are not aware, as well as even those that are aware, some of us are afraid to do the needful. So it's not a matter of fighting the people or a matter of stopping developmental projects. It's a matter of waking up to the call and telling the people what the shots will just be to encourage our people at home as well as every denizens in the country, the citizens of the country, to always be conscious of their environment and participate fully in the management of activities in their environment. Once again, thank you very much for the opportunity given, Mr. Femi. Thank you very much, our listeners at home. Thank you for your rapt attention. Thank you for your civility during the presentation. Thank you for your time as well as every other things you've sacrificed for this citizen engagement. We really appreciate. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, everybody.
So thank you very much. It's been the issue of network. Mr. Latishe, hope you are back. You are back online.
I'm, I'm
Sorry,
back on.
is that yes? It's actually the internet. It was a disruption, a kind of calling that actually disrupt the internet. We are very very sorry for that. So I really appreciate you, Mr. Latishe. It's been a wonderful presentation, and I really really appreciate that. And your parting shot was powerful. Thank you very much. I want to say that this uh, this presentation was a kind of offshoot of what we have carried out the conversation that we had with stakeholders in the government and of course other relevant stakeholders. And we believe that the citizen, the populace, are the biggest stakeholders that we need to actually get to. And that's why we came up with these public engagement so that we can actually engage everybody. Everybody can actually see, understand, and hear what we have to say concerning the issue of EIA. And just like Mr. Alatishe have rightly mentioned, that a lot of things that are happening in Nigeria today is not because they are just natural disaster. They are things that we can actually avoid. They are avoidable, but because we didn't put necessary measures in place, and that's why all these things are happening. So if EIA can actually be taken care of before, during, and after a project, we know that all those things will not be happening. And of course, what we are doing is to enlighten the people to understand the appearances of non-compliance to EIA. I'm actually looking at the time so that we won't exceed our 1 hour. So the EIA is what we are trying to do is for people to identify the problem. What are those things that can actually contribute to things that are actually elements of non-compliance? Like, for example, someone is trying to erect gas station in your environment. How What do you look out for? Maybe someone is trying to locate a fish pond in a residential area. What are those things that you actually need to look for? Would they want to start site an industrial estate in your area? What are those things that you actually need to look for? These are part of the things that we are working on to actually bring them out so that you can actually easily understand. See, we are government on our own. We are part of the government. We should not see that them, they, and us. No, it's not them and we. It's about we all do it together. Government are people that came out of us. The president is one time a Katsina man that was elected to represent us. So we should not see them as though they are different from us. Engineer Sheyi Makinde in Oyo State is one time an ordinary citizen like any of us. So we need to actually hold them accountable, ask them whether they are doing what we want them to do. And part of what I think we want them to do is to comply with the standard in our laws. And environmental impact assessment also have a law that backs it up. So the next project that we'll be working on very soon will be around identify some of those things. We will come and engage you on how to identify some of the things that you need to actually look out for when it comes to identifying things that shows that a particular project is actually not in compliance. And I know I have my assistant here. Is a capable hand when it comes to issues like this. So thank you very much for your attention. Let me quickly say one or two things about our organization. I'd like to say one or two things. Our idea of social and environmental impact assessment, or in short, social and environmental accountability idea is we want to track both government and private developers by examining, analyzing, mining EIA data to ensure all development projects are in compliance with environmental impact assessment in southwestern Nigeria. Presently, we are actually limiting ourselves to southwestern Nigeria. So these are what our idea is all about. We combine two things together because we believe that we can't actually carry out EIA without understanding the social accountability also. So with these two things are side by side. So what we are doing is to hold government accountable. Our organization, we are knowledge based. We do a lot of research, and of course, we do data mining so that we analyze data, we organize those data, we come up with facts, and these are part of the things that we do, and then we use them to engage the citizen. Then we also have a very big dream that in 2023 we dream of a southwestern Nigeria where all extractive and other development projects are in compliance with EIA, and we believe it's possible with the type of work we are doing, coupled with all what others are doing in the space. We believe that is possible. That projects are in compliance with EIA standards by carrying out EIA before, during, and after project execution. In Nigeria, I want to believe Mr. Alatishe will agree with me that most of the time, even if we carry out EIA in Nigeria, what we do is to carry out EIA before the project. Mr. Alatishe, are you still there? So
yes, I'm sir.
Yes, so what we do most of the time is to carry out this EIA before the project, and we forget the fact that the EIA should be carried out during the project, and of course, even after the execution of the project, we need to carry out what are the positive or negative impact these particular, when we carry out the impact assessment,